today, before I gotta go get my baby up and head off to work and daycare and all that, I wanted to sit and I wanted to talk to you a little bit about two things. Urgency, and urgency as a business owner with a client acquisition mindset. So, and the other thing was leverage. But I've been seeing some of my Facebook friends who are entrepreneurs who, I feel very in alignment with these people. And they were drawing attention to the fact that they create a ton of original content, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, whatever. That's their stuff. And it's not getting as much engagement as some of these accounts that are clearly paying for likes and subscribers and followers and all that. And not only are they very likely paying for these numbers to grow, but their content is derived. It's not even original. And so there was this feeling of I'm assuming, based on what I read in the comment section, like this is an injustice. I'm being a little dramatic, but it isn't fair. And so my advice to that person that I'm now making a more generalized video out to everybody is that if you are not going to be in the position, and if you want to, you can put yourself in that position. In the position to pay, thousands of dollars for followers and subscribers in order to get your content out to more people, and for those people who see your content to trust you because of the social proof of all of those followers. If you're not in that position to make that sort of an investment, okay, accept that. Like, okay, I'm not in the position to go buy followers. You're gonna have to have a different strategy for client acquisition. Okay, we buy based on trust. And these days when everyone is so distracted, I've heard the advice that you need like 7 touches, 7 interactions with a potential client in order for them to buy. These days, with everyone's goldfish brains, it's like 15. So you got to see your content and your actions through a different lens. It's like every piece of content that someone looks at is one touch, and you got to have an omni-touch sort of an approach. What do I mean by omni-touch? I mean, you need to be having daily conversations with lots of people, because client acquisition is a numbers game. And sometimes content like this can be a conversation, but this sort of a parasocial relationship pales in comparison to the type of connection that you can foster and nourish by actually going out into the community and talking, messaging the people on your followers list. It's just a different sort of approach. And so if you're going to be doing client acquisition from an approach of more, how many conversations am I having with potential clients, then I want you to have a sense of urgency about you. Okay, and not urgency like in my industry we call it premium breath, where it's like not a desperation, because people are turned off by desperation. You know that from the dating world. But a sense of urgency as in, and let me give you an example. I was getting my nails done the other day, and I was at the salon, and I was in the pedicure chair, and this beautiful elder walks in, and she's just so charismatic. And she's built a relationship with everybody in that nail salon. You can tell she's a regular, and I love her aura. And so I tell her that. I'm like, man, I love your energy. I'm starting to build this connection. And I really want her number. I'm like, ooh, this could be a potential client, a potential business relationship. I don't even know what this could be. I don't know who she knows. But I would love to get her number and start a conversation so I can have access to her people. Because they could, even if she's not a potential client, her people could be. And you got to start seeing your daily life as this fruitful, abundant pool of connection that could lead to your next sale. My husband says that because he's a business consultant, right? And we're in the game in terms of entrepreneurship. We live it. So his question is always, who has my money? He's not really worried about when he's talking to somebody like, oh man, do they have it? You know, it's who's got it? And I'm sure I butchered that. But I'll edit some of this out. So I'm in the nail salon, and this woman walks in, and I know I have that intuitive voice that says, ask for her number. It's so easy. Just do it. And I chicken out. And then they move me to the manicure chair, and I've lost my freaking. I lost my opportunity. Because that window of time was crucial. I could have tried to go back, right, and go out of my way before I left, but it wasn't natural anymore. And that smoothness really helps reduce friction in any potential interaction with a new person. So I needed more of a sense of urgency in order to secure that potential lead. That's what we call it in the business world, right? It's like, they're real people, they're not numbers, but we also say they're leads because they could lead to a sale, lead to an introduction that introduces me to my next client. Everyone's got this potential. So I needed a sense of urgency so that I would finish the job and get her number. And I didn't have that. So if you're in this sphere of entrepreneurship and you're looking for clients, have a sense of urgency about you, and don't forget that you could be having real conversations out IRL in real life. Content helps because you're like on the person's mind. People are always looking, right? I also post stuff all the time on both of my pages frequently, and I've been experimenting with different content, right? But if I post a picture of like my family, my husband and my daughter, and I say, Happy New Year, Happy Christmas, hundreds, like 100+ people are liking it. But I post something about my business, there's like no likes at all. And I don't really think that's the algorithm. I think it's just people, right? People are like, kind of doing their own thing, but they see it. And so that content helps you be on their mind so they can see you. You get a couple of those touches, but it's never going to do the job that an actual conversation will do. So don't be afraid of having these conversations with people when it comes to client acquisition for your business, okay? We should be doing the stuff that gets us paid. At the end of the day, that should be where our focus is if we truly want to be successful in our business. So that was my first round of thoughts that I really wanted to cover. And the next thing I wanted to cover, and I know that the clock is just ticking down, but my daughter's still asleep and I've still got some coffee. And it's Friday. I'm not going to say into the video screen that I'm okay with being late on a Friday, but I'm also not going to say it. So the other piece I wanted to talk about was leverage. And leverage is a game changer. Okay, I've set the goal for myself and my household that we'll be virtual millionaires by the end of the year. And I heard Myron Golden, who's a wealth advisor, who's also he's got some spiritual, he's got like a preacher in him, in addition to being a business coach. And I've heard him talk about how being a virtual millionaire is when you've got enough passive cash flow that you're like at 5K passively a month. Brilliant. I would love to have about 5K coming in passively a month. That's my goal. So when I'm looking at the different streams of what we consider passive income, which is really just saying it's like, I want to deliver more value with less effort, so I'm compensated more for less of my efforts, right? And that's where leverage comes in. So I'm sitting here and I'm giving you advice. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, whatever, you need to be focused on client acquisition. Have this sort of a sales mindset without being desperate in a way that turns people off. And for the longest time, I was afraid of, I was shying away from I was very avoidant of anything that would come off as sales, which is hilarious because that's what gets me paid, right? I can preach how I'm here to help people fire their bosses, and I'm ready to fire mine, but like, I'm not going to have any ground to stand on if no one's paying me for my services. And in order to get paid, you got to bring value, but you also have to have the conversation and ask, who's got my money? Do you have my money? And what these days in the market, what that looks like, and honestly, it's been this way for a hot minute. It's not like this is a new innovative thing that I'm telling you. It's like, you got to get people on webinars. You got to have more conversations, and they have to see the information. They got to know, what do you do? So you have to get them into a room. You have to get them into a one-on-one. You have to get them into some sort of a Zoom conference call where they receive the information about what you do. And you know this because you've probably been invited to several webinars or whatever at different points for different things, depending on what you're interested in, depending on whose funnel you clicked on. You've been invited to these rooms. You know that other people are doing it. It's fair to assume that they're doing it because it works. Okay? So I was shying away from this too. Part of it was I'm a perfectionist and I hadn't yet perfected my sales presentation. And part of it was I'm a mother and I work full time, and when will I have time to figure out how to do this, and then to invite people, and then to give the presentation, and to have presentations going at a frequency where I'm converting regular clients, because it's also a numbers game. It's like, yes, have connection, have these conversations, but have more conversations with more people is what's going to be required for you to really convert and find that person who's got your money. So I was shying away from it. And then I met my husband, and my husband plugged me into a community of other entrepreneurs, and I learned the value of leverage, okay? So literally right now, my daily routine, I'm probably having like 25 to 50 conversations a day. These threads that I'm pulling, people that I'm reaching out to. Hey, how are you? What are your dreams? What's your occupation? Where do you live? What do you do? I said, what do you do twice? But what do you do for fun? And I'm building that relationship so I can, kind of know this person and touch one of their pain points. I'm telling you, 25 to 50 a day will lead to 5 to 8 phone calls. So I'm actually having a physical conversation with a person. And then my goal is always to get them on a webinar for them to see the information about what I do. Leverage means that my team is helping me with these webinars. I don't have to be the one presenting. And I don't even have to pay them. That's leverage, okay? And that's not leverage as in it's exactly paying me directly, but it's leverage because it's saving me time and effort and energy. And in some ways, this is more effective because we are such social creatures, and we have, you and I both know that in general, trust in leadership, trust in your neighbor is being eroded by, I don't know what to call it, mind control technology, algorithms that have found a chink in the armor of human nature that are exploiting our the more negative parts of the human character, like anger and rage and stuff like this. That is so pervasive in our society that our people's trust is being eroded in each other. And so not only do I want to get this information in front of somebody to see if they'll buy from me, but I need them to trust me, and I'm coming up against an obstacle there. So if someone else on my team is helping me present this information, social proof, babe. Some third party validation that what we're talking about is the real deal. And that's also crucial. So there's all sorts of different types of leverage. And I only just told you about 2 or 3. But it's been a game changer. It's given me my time back and my energy back. We call it, in one of the communities I'm plugged into, it's real popular to say, I don't know if I got the spoons for that today, right? It's like you've got this battery, a social battery, and the decisions that you make throughout the day, the interactions, whatever, they sort of chip away at that social battery. And sometimes you get to the end of the day and you don't have any spoons left, right? Our nightly informational webinars, they happen at like 8 p.m. And I'm an old lady in the sense that I wake up before 5 a.m. I like to be in bed by 9. It doesn't really happen, but I still like it. So leverage has really saved me because someone else has got the spoons. I might not have the spoons at the end of the night, but I don't have to be the one presenting. So those are my thoughts. Lots of love, y'all.